welcome to WRPB and WRPB Studios. So, it's ironic how things work out. What we're about to talk about is one of my favorite topics, which is theater. And you guys have been with me forever and know how many plays and shows I talk about and who I'm friendly with within that theater community. Some of the blessings that I had over the years, seeing and talking and being friends with Ted Neely from Jesus Christ Superstar, Lou Diamond Phillips, and so many others that delve into the theater realm. Well, with me is Janette and Chris, and you guys are with the Barn Theater.
Correct.
50 plus years.
Yes.
We're
53rd season.
53rd season, right.
Will that make 53 years then?
Yeah, it
Okay,
does.
just checking.
Actually, we've been around since 1971.
Okay, so how long have you been with the theater?
I have been with the Barn Theater for almost 15 years now.
Okay.
And I'm an actress, and I'm a director, producer, and I'm also the vice president of marketing for the theater. So, and all in a volunteer position, so you know I love theater.
Okay. Now that I heard
Well-
from your better half,
Much better.
why? How long have you been in that?
Well, I'm currently the president of the Barn Theater, serving my second term. I've been affiliated with the Barn for about 7 years, I would say. First as a member of the board of directors and then elected to the presidency.
Oh, she has seniority over you.
I do.
Oh,
But
yeah.
wait, I'm the president.
Yeah, you know what that means.
Don't
right?
mean much.
That's right. That's right. You got that right. So, why'd you get into this?
Wow. Well,
Well,
should I go first as president?
Sure. I'll give you the honor.
What happens to ladies go first? Go ahead.
President.
I really, my whole background is law enforcement. You know,
Okay.
I was with the FBI for 34 years and then the Inspector General of Miami-Dade County for another 13. But I've always had it in my blood to want to perform, especially sing. That was in my family background. So when I finished with all the real stuff in life, I decided, well, let's try something different. And then I became more interested in theater and did a lot of acting and performing, and then more of the administrative part as well, which is why I'm now the president.
You know, I always tell people, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to be a little crazy. But if you're an entrepreneur with a brick and mortar, you got to be really crazy. Okay. So why did you get into it?
I love theater. I performed when I was in high school and in my younger years, and then took a sabbatical when I raised my family. And when they were all in college and grown, and I moved to the Treasure Coast back in 2002, I thought it was time for me to get back. I didn't realize how much get back I would do. But I did. I got back. My first show at the Barn Theater actually was in 2004. I believe it was Anything Goes, and that really sucked me in. I'm a dancer. I can do musicals. I can do drama. I love being on stage, but I also love the promotion of the theater because I love the theater. I love the Barn.
Well, I mean, my viewers already know how many theaters that we've promoted over the years and how we don't do any sports stuff. Okay, we do arts and entertainment. That's
Right.
how it was based. And you're right. There's something in us that draws us to the amazing thing that we call theater.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's funny when you say draws you in. There are one or two shows, Chris will say to me, oh, we're there. I see the Barn is doing Oklahoma. Are you going to audition? And I'll say to him, oh, I don't think so. And then all of a sudden the next morning, of course I'm going to audition. I cannot stay away.
All right. So who picks the shows that come to the?
We have a committee,
Okay.
and believe it or not, we have to pick these shows 2 years before they actually get on stage.
Yeah, because I think he was talking about. You're already thinking about He was already thinking about 2026.
That's
Yeah.
correct. We have to sign a contract with the theatrical companies, and if we don't, we're not assured that we would get the show. For instance, we're already looking at like next season. I believe we've signed several contracts for 2024. And what we at the theater want to do, it's like Forrest Gump, you know, a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. But we want to give to the theater, to the patrons, something for everyone.
Okay.
And it's hard to
Yes.
sometimes figure that one out, believe me. I'm surprised at
I
what
want people
audiences
to
love.
understand theater is not that you get a bunch of volunteers and you get a bunch of people who come and audition. It starts off with picking a show and spending thousands of dollars
Wow.
just to be able to utilize that
Correct.
show, right?
And you know, you raise a really important point. For us to put a typical musical on a barn theater show, a stage, the initial amount of money we have to front is usually around $25,000. So, you know, you have rights, which run about 12,000, costumes, you know, all the other incidentals that go with putting on a major production. So, you know, you're already in the red, $25,000, $30,000 before you even sell a ticket.
So you have to sell. I mean, selling out, of course, would be key.
Yeah, and to add on, Chris, not only do we look at the financials, we have to look and say Cinderella. 2 years ago, we said, can we cast it? Can we find a prince? Can we find Cinderella? Who's out there? Of course, we don't know, but we have to make sure that it's doable, you know, and the sets are doable. But of course, we have a great carpenter, master carpenter at the Barn Theater who can practically do anything.
Yeah, yes, that's
I have to
amazing.
give him a plug. He's wonderful.
And, you know, again, it's ironic because I was just at the theater through Martin County Leadership, okay? And what's interesting to me, and everybody's different, I talk in front of the camera. I champion adult sexual abuse survivors because I am one, so I speak in front of groups. And yet my bucket list has getting on stage and doing 2 minutes of shtick. And I
Look out.
I don't know that I could do it.
Oh, yeah.
I just something about that scares me. And yet I know I could probably do it.
You probably, once you get started, you probably won't be able to stop.
So I thought about this. I thought about going somewhere far away where I don't know anybody and doing it there. Okay? So I know how hard it is for theaters and how much is involved. And like us here, there's always improvements that need to be made. So I know that you live off of ticket sales, but that doesn't cut it alone.
No.
So donations are a big help. Where is the theater now, and what does the theater need, or what are you looking to do with the theater?
Well, that is really the most important question
Okay.
that I have to face as president and our board of directors. You know, there's been a general decline in the country,
Excuse me.
As reported by the New York Times and Washington Post, who did some really important surveys. A lot of regional and community theaters around the country are closing. They just can't find the finances to keep going. And fortunately, the barn is not one of those problems, but it is a trend. And coupled with that is the fact that donations in the country this year have declined almost 12% from private sector. So, you know, we're faced with a lot of significant issues. Currently, the Barn Theater derives a great majority of its revenue, I would say over 90% of its revenue, from ticket sales. And unfortunately, the other 10%, you know, we have to make up in donations, but really the recommended percentage should be 50 donation, 50 ticket. We're not at that stage. It's very, very hard to raise money. It's very hard for a volunteer organization like the Barn Theater to go out and solicit foundations, corporate donations, and so forth, because the process is so complex.
Yep.
You really need paid staff to do that.
Right. Well, grant writing is very difficult.
Oh my
Yes.
God, I've tried it and I
Right.
just can't do it. It's
It's
not.
its own career.
So,
Yeah.
we really depend heavily on ticket sales, and I think that's probably true for most community theaters. And so I'm always trying to solicit private donations. That's our big hope. But it's very fickle, and so we not only have to pay for our shows with ticket revenue, but also meet all the capital needs of the theater. We need to repaint our theater. We're now converting from septic to sewer, very expensive. We want to expand our lobby and enclose it. That's also very, very expensive. We need new seats. Our seats are almost 30 years old.
Okay, so I have to tell you, I was there yesterday. I love those seats.
Oh, you do?
I love the person behind me might like them, but I loved it. I was really comfortable for me.
Oh, we'll keep them then.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to? So maybe
I'll
we'll
take 'em
buy
home
one
with
for
me.
you then. Yeah, but that we get complaints about them.
Do you really?
They're getting a little old, and but it's not the number one item that we need to do. But we do have some major capital improvement projects that we need to undertake.
Okay.
And we seem to put all our money in lighting and sound. We just bought a whole new sound system to support 24 mics.
Wow.
We have upgraded all our lighting. It is state of the art.
I think, if I remember correctly, Kinky Boots had 90
Yes,
lights.
we certainly
900
900.
light cues.
did. 900
Okay.
cues. Yeah.
And the number of
900.
lights are hundreds,
Right.
but all those cues have to be timed.
All right, so I left out a zero.
That's
Yeah.
minute.
900. And again, being in the industry, I get it. The lights cost money. Everything costs money.
Yeah.
And after you invest that money, 3 months later, there are things that need to be replaced and
A
fixed.
whole new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go on something a little lighter, and I don't know if I'm correct or not. In this area of Florida, south and whatever, there's a thing called Carbonell Awards. That's like the Tony Awards in the big world. But are you involved in the Carbonell Awards?
We have never been involved in those. Yeah.
Okay. The audience that you get, do they ever bring up, like where do you find your people? Are they local?
Absolutely, all the time. I will stand out, if I'm not in a show, I will be at the shows, and I stand outside as the patrons come out. And they'll say to me, oh, did they work on Broadway? And I will say, no, they are your local community. They are the Treasure Coast and sometimes Broward County. They are teachers, nurses, lawyers, hairdressers. We have local people who do not get paid.
Well, most people don't understand that, whether it be the Treasure Coast or somewhere else, there's so much talent out there, okay, that just gets overlooked.
Yes, it does.
And it's community theater that gives them a place to shine,
Yeah.
you
very,
know.
very true.
And that's why, for me, theater has always been something that I champion, because it was very important to me. Look, I'm in the Stuart Warren Chamber as you are.
Right.
And I've hocked you 852,000 times because it's so important to help the theater, to donate, to go, to see the shows. And when you figure out a show being, and I'm just going to pick a number on it, a musical would be $40 a ticket, let's just
Right.
say. So when I go out to eat for that hour and a half, I spend more than the $80
Correct.
for two people. This is a show, and it lasts. How long do most shows last?
2.5 hours
Okay.
on average.
So people don't. They look in the small box instead of looking at the big picture, So tonight, don't go to the restaurant, go somewhere less expensive, and go to the theater. Look, when I was down south, there used to be more than now critics. And I have an issue with critics. And I've reviewed theater, but they pan a play sometimes for the stupidest things.
Yeah.
Yes, they do, yes.
I went to see Mamas and Papa, a play about the Mamas and Papas. And the phone rang on stage. It was on a podium. And when they went to answer it, it fell off the podium. Well, the critic down there, and I don't want to mention his name, panned the play because of that one thing. Now, I can tell you, being my age, phones were still on the walls. I can't tell you how many times they fell off the wall.
True.
It's a reality thing that happens. Why would you even care? Okay? And my thought was always, you get up there, you sing, you dance, you act, and you be in every spot that you need to be in. And at that point, maybe you have a right to criticize the negative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I have to tell you something that was interesting. In Kinky Boots, which we just closed, last Friday night's performance, Chris and I were there, our lead broke her heel in the middle of one of the dance numbers. Let me tell you, they went on.
Yep.
She did it in one heel, just to keep, and all we did was look at her face because she was so happy and laughing, and I mean, I would just say wonderful. She got through it.
Yeah.
But people have to understand, this is live theater.
Right.
Things happen.
I mean, I went to a show, it was some musical, and the music went off, sound went off.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when the sound came back on, they were right where they should have been, as if it had cut
Never
something off.
happened. Yeah.
That didn't miss a beat, not one beat. Okay.
Wayne, let me just interject one thing, because you did mention we are a community theater, and it's important to keep everyone interested in a theater, not only patrons, obviously, but people to come out and act.
Right.
So we have at the Barn Theater a what we call a technical internship program, and we've invited, and we're very successful at it. And we've invited students, high school students from Treasure Coast high schools, to come into the theater to our internship program and learn about lighting, sound, learn about how a production is put on, get backstage, learn about wigs and dresses and sets, and at the end of the year, we award 3 to 4 scholarships
Based on that.
Okay.
based upon the effort that they put into the internship program. So this past year, we've had some 15 high school students go through the program. And these kids not only learn about this stuff, some of them actually go out and become
Make it a career.
professionals,
Make it their career.
make it their careers.
But you know why it works? I'll tell you why. Because you guys have the philosophy that we have. You come here as an intern, you're not taking out garbage.
Right.
No,
You're working behind the camera.
Yes.
You're working in front of the camera. You're working in sales. You're working in editing. You need to know it all.
yeah.
Okay? And
And they put on the show. I mean, they're actually running the show.
yeah, they told us yesterday when I was
Yeah.
there.
Oh my
that
God, it's like,
these
wow.
interns don't get away with stuff. They got to learn every piece.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
look at like I said, cues. All those cues. They've got to know the script. They have to know when people come on and off the stage. They have to know when to turn on the sound. It really gets
Yeah.
interesting.
It's amazing. Okay, how do people contact you? You have a phone number?
Yes, our box office is 772
Right.
287 4884.
And you have a website? We'll let the vice president answer this one.
Yes, we have a website. It's www.barn-theater.com.
Okay, let's take a moment before I let you go, and let's talk about your season that you're in now.
Okay, our 53rd season. As I said before, we just finished Kinky Boots, which was very, very successful. Our next main stage production is called Lend Me a Tenor. It's a farce, a comedy, fun, fast-moving. Our patrons will love it. And then the magical Cinderella. Everyone knows the story of Cinderella. Bring your family, bring your children, bring everyone. West Side Story, the classic, comes in March. After West Side Story, Sweeney Todd. Then our summer musical, another family production, is Seussical the Musical.
It's got to be great.
So we've got something for everybody.
And
Don't
of course-
forget our concerts.
And you have stuff in
yeah,
between.
We do. We are opening Rocky Horror Picture Show with a shadow cast on October. I believe it's the end of October. We have 2 holiday specials, one in the middle of December, the Rhythm Checks ladies group that do everything from the Andrews Sisters to disco to rock and roll. And our New Year's weekend special is a tribute artist, Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
Everybody, I tell you a million times, to use a professional, what you see on these stages are the professionals in the making. And I cannot tell you how much, and I've seen from the major Broadway shows to big theaters here, the community theater somehow manages to attract some amazing talent. And that's our future. So get out there, go see a show, check out the Bond Theater. Janette, I want to
Yes,
thank you.
You might even see Janette on stage.
Yeah, you might see me, and it's only a short ride from where you live. Thank you,
Everybody
Lynn.
have a great day, and we'll
Thank
be
you.
right back.
Thank you very much.